All right, what's up, guys? It's been a little while, but Lumix did some updates, so I have to come out of retirement and start yapping on my YouTube channel again. Let's get into it.
You are now watching lighthunter.d.
So I'll be pretty brief since it's just an update. The firmware update allowed for no more recording limits, better tracking support, adds frame markers, which I can't believe those weren't already there, and better app support. So everything's kind of contained in the Lumix Lab app, or at least you can control the camera from there. Now, these are all improvements, so not really going to knock them too hard. I already had a whole video kind of about that. So at least they're trying to improve, and that's kind of what they can do within the limits of firmware. They can't add hardware to the camera, unfortunately, which has always been my criticism, or at least main criticism. That this camera is hurt by not having hardware. So again, these things should have been there from the start. I can't believe they don't kind of A/B test these or ask creators, but uh, glad they're there. So good for them. So obviously, when this camera was released in kind of the media blitz, there was a lot of criticism, for myself included, of this camera, the whole release, how they marketed it. But mostly, it's really the main thing that people are upset about, or at least for myself. This is called entry level. This is the entry level Lumix body, and it's not really priced that cheap, and it's missing things that people have had in other cameras, or feel that we should be at a point where they are just simply included in these cameras, even if they are entry level. So I think it's a fair criticism. Now, I'm obviously biased because that's my criticism too. So importantly, it was true then, it's true now. None of this criticism is personal in any way. There's no irrational, angry, malicious guy shouting this stuff at his laptop screen or punching his keyboard. This is just calm criticism of, frankly, an industry that doesn't care personally about any of us. And that's not like a bad thing or a boohoo kind of thing. It's just simply true. None of this is personal. How this industry operates is not personal. Um, Someone saying, you know what, I think we deserve a little more for the money, that's not personal either. Don't take an impersonal thing personally. Um, if you're a YouTuber putting out videos and you like these products, whatever, we'll take it as honest or not. Um, but this is all just industry talk. This is like kind of a fun thing for a lot of people. I mean, it's obviously something a lot of people care about. It's a huge industry, so people are gonna yap. Let's just talk about it. Let's be adults. And honestly, there can't be two angry bald photographers on the internet. So I'm gonna give my analysis, but I'm not an angry guy. However, I do think it would absolutely own me if you left a comment and told me that I'm wrong. So should you go buy it now that there's been this big firmware update? It's been video worthy by many. If you know all the limitations, if you've studied the spec sheets, listened to the YouTubers, read reviews, asked your friends, and you know the limitations and you want it, go for the camera. It can take good images. It'll be fine for you. Be careful on the e-shutter, but especially if you're new to cameras. But I do think there are better options out there, which I'll outline some within the L mount system at the end of the video. So the S5D was also announced. This is just a refresh of the OG S5, the contrast AF one. And it mainly unlocks support for DJI LiDAR and their RS3 Pro gimbal. Not sure what other limitations were there prior to this, hardware wise, or if this is just mostly unlocked in software. I don't think they're giving it a new processor or anything. But that's really the main change here. Initially, I was more critical of it, even because it just seemed like a laughable release, and to some extent, I guess it is. But the EU also has all these regulations and all this these kind of things that they're imposing on manufacturers, much of which I don't know all the details. So, I'm sure this is to get around that. They can move S5 stock if they are repurposing it, or allow it to be sold in the EU in the first place. Again, I don't know all the regulations behind it. If you want to enlighten me in the comments, please do. But yeah, beyond that, there's not really much to talk about here. They're still selling the S5. They're selling this for a little bit more. It's just in the EU right now, so us over here in America, we don't really have to worry about it. The DJI partnership, or kind of their more direct involvement in it, may be the most interesting part about it, which is not to say much, but they are an L-mount partner. And I did say in a video many months ago, before people were talking about DJI making a camera again, that their modern mirrorless will likely, it'll be L-mount, for better or worse. Lumix also announced the new kit zoom, which is 18 to 40. It's pretty slow lens aperture-wise, so practical for shooting out during the day as like a travel lens. But from what I'm seeing from other reviewers, it's kind of meh. Very middling. If I was taking out a lens for the day, it would probably be a faster prime, or even a bigger zoom, because why not? I do think this should have just shipped with the camera in the first place. It's kind of funny now to see other reviewers, other content creators, whatever you want to call it, basically all admitting that the 26 mil f8 is literal trash, which I did say back then. But this new kit zoom is out, so everyone can admit it now. Funny enough, I think the Viltrox 28 mil f4.5 would probably be the perfect lens to launch with this. But I think whatever L-mount restrictions are in place, Viltrox is not really going to do that, which is a shame. And again, part of L-mount lock-in that I talk about. So to round it out, we're going to keep this in the spirit of being productive and not malicious. Give some productive suggestions of L-mount options. If you're interested in the S9, a couple alternatives, which I believe I probably saw this in the last video. I haven't watched it again, so forgive me if this is a repeat. Just go for the S5 II or S5 IIX used. It's going to be probably cheaper. And that's primarily if you're doing video work. You probably already know what you're getting into anyways. All right, had to reset up. Make sure to charge your batteries, folks, because this is like the third time recording this now. Also, make sure to export your audio before you delete it. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So peak value for the right user, the right kind of user in the L-mount or Lumix space. If you can find an original S5, like the contrast AF one, just totally ignore the L-mount. Put an M adapter on there instead, and then go with something like the Epoch Samara line. It'll be all manual focus, but you can get a body super cheap, like probably around 700, 750. And then just date the body for however long you want. It's a full frame body, it's fine. And then you can marry the lenses. You can move those wherever. You can have them for as long as you want them, as long as they'll last. So you can truly marry the lenses, and they're great lenses. I have two of them. Most importantly, this avoids L-mount lock-in. Personally, I always felt like I was missing out on, interesting third-party manufacturers. L-mount doesn't really have that, or it doesn't seem to. And finally, you love this form factor. Maybe you do go with the S9. An alternative would be the FP. Kind of oddly enough, I've stepped away from making videos. I've just been super busy. But I see, L-mount creators talking about the FP more. That didn't really before, or even some more, I guess, mainstream channels. And just talking about how great the color is, and it is a cool camera. It's kind of weird, unconventional, but they are good cameras. So that could be something to go with. If you do go with an FP or FPL, just leave the viewfinder on or don't, the EVF. Just don't want to risk the USB port, as I always tell people across all these videos. Anyways, that's it for now, guys. Just want to get back to making videos, something to yap about. A lot of creators felt this firmware update was something to talk about, so I figured I'd chime in yet again. If there's overlap with the previous video, you know, it's been so long. I don't even know what I said in that one, aside from the hardware criticisms. But yeah, there will be many more yapping videos to come. Just kind of talking about products that are coming out again. I will have, you know, lens reviews, talk about my gear's changed a little bit. But yeah, anything else you guys want to talk about, let me know. I'm on threads quite a bit to talk about this kind of stuff. So it's at lighthunter.d. And I'll link my, you know, all my socials and the Gumroad if you do want to support the channel. There's, you know, wallpapers and music stuff on there. The wallpapers are not $50, so don't worry about that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today, guys. As always, leave comments. Just get back into the swing of things. So that's going to be it for today. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Later.